Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Today we're doing Tostada Thursday, or our diabetic friendly dish tonight. This is going to be a fun one you can do. You can do this any other night of the week. Even if you're not diabetic, this will still be a great dish to make because we're just making a tostada from home. We're going to start off with getting our beans going because we're going to make homemade refried beans. I got a purple onion here because we're going to use this for our beans and for our salsa here in a second. We're going to cut the stem of it off. Cut it side down and then cut it in half through the root. And then we'll peel off the skin. I'm getting the outside layer too, just because it makes it a little easier to peel. And for the onion, for the beans, I'm not going to care too much about how finely chopped my onion is, because I'm going to puree that up with an immersion blender. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can easily use a potato masher or a fork or a wooden spoon or something like that. So we're just going to get a couple chops here, and we're going to add about half of this to our pot here. I got preheated a little bit, and I got some vegetable oil in there. I want to drop this up just a little finer. I want to add it to a bowl here for some salsa. Let's make sure we got salsa. I love the stuff. Hopefully you guys will like these recipes too. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the bowl just to kind of get it out of the way. Clean that up. I got a couple garlic cloves here. Just need to smash real quick to get the skin off them. So it's kind of pressing them underneath my knife blade, but making sure to keep my fingers up so I don't get them caught underneath the blade while smashing. Peel the skin off them. Eventually someday someone will learn how to make garlic without the skins on it, and they'll be the greatest person in the world compared to in my eyes. They don't have to sit here and peel garlic anymore. So we got garlic peel off. Don't drop the knives on the ground. We got 2 cloves of garlic here. I'm going to chop up for my salsa real quick. I'm just going to give them a rough chop. Put them in this bowl. Got 2 cloves here. You can kind of give a little rough chop too as well, so that way I can have them for my beans. Just give my onions a little stir real quick. Don't want them to burn. I went ahead and started cooking my turkey some, just because sometimes my burners take a little too long to heat up and get going, so I just gave that a little bit of a head start. And all we're going to do for the taco meat is, whatever your taco sauce or taco seasoning instructions are, you just follow that. Usually it's, add 2/3 cup of water with the seasoning and kind of let it reduce away. So we'll give this just a second before we add our water and our seasoning and let it cook down, get flavorful. This is ground turkey. I know it gets a bad rep, but I actually love turkey, so I'm looking forward to eating these tostadas. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic for my beans. I'm going to give that just a second to cook before I add my beans and my broth. I got a can of black beans I went ahead and drained and rinsed. We'll go ahead and add those. Alright, this pan's a little warm. We want to add the chicken broth here. I got a little bit of my base still in the pot. I was going to take that out and mix that in. So with our beans now, we just need to add a little bit of seasoning. We want to add a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of cumin, and then we'll add some salt and pepper at the end once everything's kind of cooked down a little bit. Because if you add salt now and you're letting something reduce, you will intensify the saltiness and stuff. So there's already salt in with the chicken broth, so I'll kind of let it serve as my salty component right now before I add any more salt to it. So my turkey's looking pretty good. It's just about cooked by the way, so I'm going to go ahead and add my taco seasoning. Then you add 3/4 cup of water. And my measuring cup go. So you have 3/4 cup of water here. Okay. So we're just going to mix this up really well, and then we'll start making our salsa. I got one more clove of garlic here. I'm going to chop that up really fine, because this is going to go in a fresh pico de gallo salsa. So that way we don't get a big bite of garlic in something. We will go ahead and take it, add it to this bowl here. And then I have I'm going to chop up a little bit more onion here. I'm going to take about half of an onion, or a fourth of an onion. And I want to make sure I peel it. And then we will chop this up kind of like we do a normal onion, doing, cutting some nice strips in it, but not cutting all the way through the back of the onion. Give it a little turn, and then give it a nice chop. And now we have some diced onion for our fresh pico de gallo salsa. So we will put that off to the side. We're building two salsas at once. It's kind of fun. Now we can kind of compare and contrast. I have a fresh tomato here. The recipe calls for 4 Romas, but I had 2 kind of beefsteak tomatoes here, so I'm going to cut the core of it out. And then I'm going to cut some slices out of it. If you have a serrated knife, that will work better for your tomato slicing. It makes it a lot easier to go or do. I dropped mine on the floor, so we're going to stick with a regular knife here. And then I'm going to cut some strips, or as I like to call it when I do my kids' classes, we're going to cut some french fries out of it. And then we'll turn it and give it a nice little dice. And now we have diced tomato for our fresh pico de gallo. We'll add that to this bowl here. This one's a lot of chopping, but it's worth it, I promise. Let's chop that one up. I always turn the ends on the inside up because it's a little easier to chop through. So we got our tomato in there. We'll do one more, or the other half of this one. Cut some planks out of it. Again, a serrated knife would work better for these. I dropped mine on the floor, so we're kind of going with the regular one. So it's getting this chopped up, finished up. This one's nice and juicy. So we are going to get this added to our bowl. I'm going to grab a towel and kind of wipe up that little bit of a mess. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright, we got our turkey going well, nicely. Just kind of got to let this water reduce out of it. I'm going to turn it just a hair to kind of help get that reducing going. Our beans are cooking away nicely. Everything smells great, so we're going to be all set for tostadas here in just a couple minutes. So we are going to start chopping up our jalapeno now. When we used to work in restaurants, we call them jalapeños. That's how they look like they sound. Just going to cut the stem of it out and cut it on both sides, so that way we get it out. I like a little bit spicy, so I'm going to leave the stem in that one. So we're just going to chop this into some strips. We'll cut this one into strips too. If you don't like chopping fresh peppers because you're worried that they are going to be too spicy, or you're worried about touching your face or something, you can easily use the canned jalapenos or green chilies. I like the canned green chilies just because they add some nice flavor and not too much heat. So we got our jalapeno in there. I'm going to chop a little bit of jalapeno up for this one. We're going to puree this one, so I'm not going to cut this one up too finely. It just needs, we got some cilantro here. We're going to chop this up, get a little finer chop in there. And some people don't like cilantro. If you're one of those people that has the chemical imbalance, it's a natural thing where it tastes like soap. Don't put it in there. Just put a little parsley in there for some color, and you'll be fine. So I'm going to take some of that in there, some of that in there, and I'm going to do a little pepper, salt, a little lime juice. I have fresh lime in the fridge, but it wasn't very fresh, so we're going with the canned stuff. And this is the green chilies I was talking about. We're going to open them up and add to our pureed salsa. I love them, so I always have them on hand and add them to a lot of stuff. And I like these a little spicy, so they'll be alright adding that whole can in there. And then some of the Mexican restaurants around, whenever they make salsa, they'll use the whole canned tomatoes as opposed to fresh tomatoes because, one, they're cheaper, two, they're consistent year round, and you can just add that whole can. We'll take a couple out just to make it a little easier to puree, and then I'll add them back. And then they just puree it up. So I'm going to take my little mini boat motor here. I love these things. When I was in culinary school, I was the only one who had one, and I was very popular when it came time to make sauces because you either had to put it through a blender, food processor, or have an immersion blender to stick it right in the pot and blend it up. So these things are great. All you gotta do is put them in, push the button, and they just blend right up. I'm going to add these other couple of tomatoes in here now, just so that way we got them all used up. And I'm going to be happy because I'm going to make lots of chicken salsa this weekend. So now we got a nice fresh salsa that way. I'm going to go ahead and puree up my beans. There's a lot of the same flavors on the beans as there is the salsa, so I'm not too worried about having the salsa in there. My beans are just a hair dry, so I'm going to add just a splash of water, or since I already put a little bit of salsa in there, put a little salsa in there, blend up. This will give it more flavor whenever we go to eat it. So we we got some nice looking refried beans there. Gonna get this out of the way. Turn that heat off. Our turkey's starting to evaporate. Probably should have put about half a cup of water, so 3/4 of a cup, but you know, it'll be alright. We'll make it work. And now we just need to chop a little bit of lettuce to go on our tostada. I'm just using romaine lettuce. I like romaine a little bit better than iceberg. There's a little more nutritional content to it than iceberg, and I think it has a little bit more flavor. Since we're just kind of topping a tostada, we just need a couple leaves. We don't need to chop the whole head. We're going to take it kind of rolled up, and then start chopping it. And now we'll have this nice fresh chopped lettuce for our tostada here. I'm gonna run my knife a couple times across, that way we don't have, you know, giant strands of lettuce. Everything's a little more evenly chopped up. We need to mix this guy up a little bit, and then we will have dinner ready to go. Alright, so we got our fresh salsa made, our canned salsa that they kind of have in Mexican restaurants, and now we got our tostada shells ready. These are the store-bought ones that you can see in most supermarkets. They're great, they're already made, so that way, you know, most of the work's already done for you. They taste great. Just want to take a little spoonful of our beans here, kind of spread it about on our tostada. Then we will add a little bit of turkey. And what's fun about this is you can kind of build it up as, you know, however you want. You can do, you know, whatever layer first that you want to do. I've seen some people do the cheese first. Some people do the lettuce first. I'm doing the beans because it'll kind of be a glue to hold everything together. A little bit of turkey. Alright. Then I'm going to put a little bit of cheese here. I got a little Monterey Jack cheese. Sprinkle that right on top. A little bit of lettuce. And then we'll do one with fresh salsa, and then one with the canned stuff that we made. And there we have turkey tostadas for Tostada Thursday. It's a nice, quick, easy, diabetic friendly meal as well. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.